I got two hands, I got my mouth, I know how to earn money.
She absolutely does. She doesn't miss a trick. I told you, seems like a lot of these foreigners have all kinds of problems, drinking and everything, besides obesity, but the drinking is bad. So Jim and Dexel, and you've heard of them before, Jim and Dexel's, I don't know, Philippines Ventures, whatever they call themselves. I have a link to this particular video on my last live. If you go there and look at the comments section, there is a link in blue, and I want you to watch the whole thing. This guy's really out of line with his wife, and he comes all the way back to the Philippines to be with them, but actually he had a court case going on. That's what I'm saying. These people are so fucked up that move out here. It's just incredible, man. I could try to put that link after I sign off on here, on there, and I could try that. I told you I don't have a box on here where I could actually post a comment or anything. I don't know why. In the past, I never had a problem doing that. But I decided to put on a video because, yeah, I am under construction, under renovation here. My friends, in more ways than one, actually. And I meant that. But let me tell you that I saw this video, and someone named, what did I say it was? Leo, had put this video on. And it showed Jim and Dexel, and they're walking. And he was pissed off at something. Some guy either he bumped into, I don't know what it was. But he was just mouthing off, I'll kill the guy, I'll put a knife in him, and he has a flask on him that he's drinking or something, and he was just totally downing his wife on there, man. I'm surprised nobody's picked up on this yet. Why am I the one that's, well, then Leo, a guy named Leo who posted this. I'm surprised, Ricky hasn't picked up on this or anybody else. This guy is a real fuck up. He should just stay in the United States because all he talks about in his show is all the wrong, terrible things about the Philippines. But he's a binge drinker that he admits he's a binge drinker when he does. And he has a really, really bad attitude. You're going after the wrong people, folks, is all I can tell you. I'm nothing like this guy. And a lot of people on here are not like this guy. This guy's a big guy, works out, but he's got the brains of a fucking peanut and size of a peanut. And he's an alcoholic. And he treats Dexel so horribly. So absolutely horribly. So if you can't wait, go to my last live, and you'll see in the comments section I have a link, and go to that link and watch this, and you'll be pretty disgusted at this guy and his behavior. You really will. And I'll try to put that link, if I can, on this when I sign off. These things you got to know about. This is a prime example. Prime example. Good morning. We are open for business today. Okay. So what's the topic for today? I could think of numerous. But, I did a brief show last night. It is Counterflow. Good morning, sir. Now, in today's show, we're not really going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about legal cases. We're not going to talk about trolls. Nothing like that. We're just going to talk in general, but I'll be specific on a few things here. Everybody in their life goes through something that is very challenging and can affect your life in one way or another, And when I seen that thing with Jim and Dexel, that would have brought me out of my grave to put that video on. And I always feel that there's no excuse for somebody's behavior, drinking or not drinking, but that's one of the reasons I don't drink. And I don't like to go to bars. And hey, one bad habit's enough. It's more than enough. But drinking is something I never got into except back in my clubbing days. Yeah, you'd have a few beers, maybe a rum and coke or something, but that didn't last long. Then I found myself just having cranberry juice or something. I've had to go out and do that. There's always some friends always encouraging you to, oh, come on, loosen up, Frank, loosen up, have a beer, have a beer, have a beer. That's the problem, I think, when you influence other people trying to influence you to do something, which could become a lifetime habit to some people. But I don't know. I'm saying this a lot, something that I observed on here. You got a lot of vloggers, and I'm not talking about trolls, I'm talking about vloggers, period. When you listen to their shows, I mean, they're trying to, in one way, promote the Philippines, and then they're just talking so much bad stuff about the Philippines. I make it very well known on my show what I feel about certain things about the Philippines. I think that most people do because, it is a developing country and there is something to say about that. It's not America. It's just, you're not in Kansas City anymore. But besides, having a girlfriend, wife, um, it has to be more than that to stay in the Philippines. Um, Sometimes it wears on people after a while, and some people are forced to stay out here because, well, they have a wife or girlfriend or whatever. But there really has to be more. I mean, you have to like something about the people out here in a culture. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. We all have our, you know, oh boy, crosses to bear. Oh boy, mm, how do you like that one? Crosses to bear. We all do. Which I'm going to lead me into something else too. Um, this is really personal, but I had a lot of trolls and stuff. Oh, they say Frank's taking this, taking that for sleep, and yeah, I was. But a lot of people don't know if they don't remember. I've been weaning myself off something, and been very difficult for me. Same as alcoholism or anything else. Trying to get off something does what you call a rebound insomnia, and I'm still not sleeping well. I don't get what you call restorative sleep. That's a problem. Oh, I'll dream. You might even hear me snoring overnight, but I wake up a couple of times a night, even though I have weaned myself off a horrible, horrible, horrible medicine. Don't get me wrong. Oh, this particular medicine is meant for a purpose. I will always have it around. It is your best friend beyond your lover, believe me. And if you know anything about anxiety, um, true anxiety, if you ever had a panic attack, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You think you're having a heart attack. Fortunately for me, that rarely ever happens. But, you know, mother's little helper, like any other medicine that you're taking for something, there's a reason if you take any medicines, otherwise you wouldn't take them. But I'm going to go to briefly talk on this, about this one. Yeah. Meant as a sleep aid, but it's not manufactured as a sleep aid, but people do take it to make you drowsy. It kind of lowers your respiratory system to allow you to sleep. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. This particular medicine has a half-life to it. And if you don't know what a half-life is, it means it's actual, call it efficacy of having a more of a sedated effect to allow you to kind of get to sleep only lasts really about 4 hours. Okay, 4 hours. So getting up in the middle of the night or waking up anyway doesn't necessarily mean you have to get out of bed. Your eyes wake up, you look at the clock and say, oh, fuck. You know, then maybe one more time, your eyes wake up, oh, fuck. Yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, it sucks. I've been off it, but you're still getting what you call rebound insomnia. Why the fuck do you think I'm up at 5 in the morning doing shows when I do about 5 in the morning? Because I've been up already. That's why. Because I've been up already. If you don't have to get involved with these kind of sleep meds, whatever you want to call them, don't get involved with them. Because it's hell on wheels to get off this shit. Because here's the deal. Even if you get off something, in this particular case, with this particular med, it takes months and months before your brain kind of registers to go back to producing, well, whatever, the GABA and everything else on its own. So you're still going to have rebound effect, rebound insomnia. And it sucks. It sucks. Well, okay, there are prescription drugs meant for sleep, but it seems that everything has side effects. There's not many drugs out there that don't have side effects. And then you got doctors that don't know what they're talking about out here. I had one doctor says, "Yeah, why don't you take this antihistamine, Montelukast, help clear your lungs up, especially for smokers, and it's got an antihistamine in it too." Well, you don't want to combine an antihistamine at night with any kind of med, and I don't know where to go to school. I'm not a freaking doctor, but why is it I know more things about some local doctors than they fucking know? There's things you can't mix together, which could be almost, some things, according to what they are, could be deadly. Now, respiration, how do you think these meds work, this particular? It lowers your respiration. But if you take something else that could lower your respiration, you could die overnight. Not getting enough oxygen. They don't know what they're talking about. Hello, Princess. Good morning to you. So, be your own medical advocate. I try to research everything I do. Oh, now Popeye can't say, well, Frank's on his beat, on his benzo buddies. Well, Popeye, guess what? I haven't been. But you'll have to find something else to knock me with. I'm sure you will. But then I'm saying if you need something, you need something, bottom line, all right? If you're diabetic, you'll need diabetic medication, right? If you get angina or something for your heart, you'll need some kind of angina medicine, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. We live in a fucking pill society. It doesn't mean that these, these medicines are cure-alls. There's no magic pill for anything out there. I'm sorry to say. There really isn't. But Big Pharma loves you buying their products. And some of the doctors like to promote their products. They get some kind of, I don't know, a stipend or something, whatever. Yeah. So when people criticize other people about taking medicines, well, what are you taking? What are you taking that you're not telling us? I was very open about what I was taking because I had no problem being open with it. It's like any other problem. Like I just mentioned, diabetes, heart disease, whatever your problem is, I don't care what it is. Sometimes you need to take a medication for it. Maybe you don't want to. And maybe the medication you're taking has side effects, but the doctor says you got to take it. Well, by the way, that medicine I take, nobody recommends it for sleep. I want to be right up front. It's not meant to be a sleep medication to begin with. No, it's not. But they found that it is useful for that. Okay, there you go. But anyway, sleep is really important. I don't feel, I don't get what you call restorative sleep. There are different stages of sleep, and I'm not getting some of them. Sure, I might be snoring away saying, oh boy, he's getting good sleep. I do dream. I do dream. That would, you would believe would be REM stage, but there are deeper stages. But then again, when you get older anyway, you do tend to sleep less. And then also, I haven't been having any prostate problems. If I did, I'd be getting up peeing overnight, and that's what keeps people up too. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. If you smoke, oh, how often do you smoke? Maybe overnight your body is not getting any of that wonderful nicotine, and your body is reacting to that. I know a guy. In fact, he's that colonel guy I used to talk about that was in Vietnam. And I used to talk to him a little bit at the swap meet thing, whatever they'd have on the weekends in Hawaii. He said he didn't get much sleep at all. I said, why do you get up? He goes to smoke. I said, to smoke? Well, this guy was like, I mean, heavy duty smoker. I mean, big time. Big time. And your body's also reacting to that chemical. Where's my nicotine and the 10,000 other chemicals that these tobacco companies put it in there? Don't blame people who smoke. Blame the fucking manufacturer of these things who purposely tried to put chemicals to get your children and other people to get addicted to cigarettes and shit like that. You know, this fucking society, it's all about the big bucks. It's like funny they put these pictures on the pack of cigarettes. They could do this, could do that, could do this, don't smoke. But they're selling the cigarettes. They want you to buy them. And the government makes, my God, United States, I mean, I think 75% of the pack of cigarettes is fucking tax. It's tax. So they don't give a shit if you die from cigarettes, but they want you to buy them. And a lot of doctors are giving out drugs that you don't really need. And they're also telling people that, oh, be so aware of your cholesterol. Well, buds, for a certain point, worry about your triglycerides. We need the cholesterol. They've been telling you something different. And they come out with statin drugs to, you know, to handle stuff like that, high cholesterol. But the statin drugs are causing more problems with people who take them. They're getting all kinds of horrible body aches. And in fact, you don't need statin drugs. This is Big Pharma making money. This is Big Pharma making money. Well, I wasn't going to make this into a medical show. Not really. But I'm just trying to say, look, if you need a medicine and if it's helping you, then you take it. But know a lot about it. Okay? Know a lot about it. Find out if you really need whatever it is your doctor's telling you. Is there an alternative thing you could take and get the results you want without taking that particular drug that might have a lot more side effects? Is it really helping you? Or is there some natural way of doing this? Look, remember, our society is all about money. You know it, I know it. Everything is about money. The more they can make off you, the more they're gonna make off you. So big pharma plays a big part in this. There are medicines out there that are pushing on people that people don't even need, nevertheless want. So anyway. Well, anyway, not much to say this morning, uh, except that it's talking about Jim, so that would be gossip, right? Talking about Jim and Dexel, I guess that would be gossip. I guess it is. But there's a reason I talk about that because, well, some people can't handle their liquor and they get really rowdy and they just get really obnoxious. And that's why, I mean, even if I did drink, I don't get rowdy. I think I could get a little braver, but I don't get rowdy and obnoxious, anything like that when I used to have my little social drinking with the boys when we go to the clubs. No, I wasn't like that. But I've seen many people that were like that. The worst are binge drinkers. And they can maybe go through the week, go to work and everything else without drinking, but then when they start drinking, whatever, their spare time or weekends off work or whatever, they don't just drink, they binge. And they just go over the edge. Alcohol does not belong in your body. And I wasn't kidding when I say even one drink what it does to your liver and brain. But don't listen to me. I don't know anything about this stuff. I haven't a clue. I just like to listen to myself talk, right? But like I say, whatever. You do what you need to do. Keep your weight on if you're obese, if you're happy with it. God bless you. You know, if you drink, God bless you. If you continue to want to be an asshole, God bless you too. You're going to do what you want to do, and I'm going to do what I want to do. Advice is one thing, but taking it, that's a whole nother story. Drinking is just not good. Jim's behavior to Dexel, I'm glad she was purposely recording because she knew the way he was. Jim, I don't know, he makes reference like he had a great relationship with his wife and love, but, he's lying. Apparently, Jim treats Drexel like shit. That's why I talked about it. Sometimes you do got to call people out on something. She's smart, very smart, Filipina. She recorded him. And in case push came to shove, that he hit her or anything like that. I think he did push her in that video. She mentioned something. That's just getting too much, man. Hello. Oh, yeah, she's Yeah, she was. She's protecting herself. I knew he was lying from the first day I saw him. He doesn't know what he talks about on his show. First, he's either pro-Philippines, and then he's against it in one sentence. I mean, it's like, you make up your mind. No, see, Jim is not a candidate for the Philippines. He's absolutely not. He's better off staying in America. He is one person that could actually say, this is not, him and the Philippines don't mix. Don't forget, he's got that legal case going on against him, actually, or whatever with it. You remember some neighbors, he ain't going to give you the straight story. That he got into a confrontation. He probably was drunk. He was blaming them for something. Then, I don't know, they said his kid got a rock or something, whatever, thrown against his head and had to go to the hospital for this and that. The funny thing is, the house that he goes back to in the Philippines that's the neighbor. These were neighbors that he was battling with, and that's why he's not going back to the house. He don't want to go. That's why he's at some dumpy studio apartment because he don't want to go back to that house. No, because he could get himself killed. That's why you can't believe. That's why you just can't believe a lot of people on here. They do have. Let's face the reality here. People do have a lot of shit. I mean, everybody has something going on in their life. I don't care who you are, even me. There's always something you're dealing with, right? They're not going to tell you. Of course, they want to paint that pretty little picture of my life is great out here and everything's perfectly just peachy. Well, most of the time it's really not. And they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. Counterflow, 100% Frank. He has a bullshit clickbait, has no idea what he talks about, and has like 6,000 subs or more. It's pathetic, really. As he sits in his Michigan mansion, he talks about living in the PH. I don't know. I don't think he was living in anything special, was he? I don't know. I don't remember the house. Here's the thing. This back and forth thing with the Philippines and attitudes about it. The Philippines is kind of a place that hooks you. And you might find some people that find so many things wrong with the Philippines, but there's something about the Philippines that attracts them. Well, besides the women. Because you hear him telling her, yeah, that's right, I got 10 women, 20 women I could have. Oh, so you're cheating on me? Oh, yeah, I got lots of women, 10 women, 20 women. You don't tell a Filipino that, even in jest, whatever. Oh, no, it's over. That relationship is probably over. She wants somehow, well, she can't get a divorce. Why is she talking about divorce? She can't get a divorce. I don't know. Well, the fact is that's their personal business anyway. She made a mistake marrying him. I don't know why she did. Was she an opportunistic Filipina? I don't know because I don't know her. I'm not going to put her on a pedestal and say poor Dexel, poor Dexel. Well, poor Dexel, yeah, to be with him, yeah, we could say that. But I know nothing about the woman. I know nothing about her. She could be the biggest bitch from fucking hell, for all we know. However, we're just commenting on him and his behavior. I don't know anything about her. I don't know. She may not be that innocent of a person. She could be driving a man to drinking, for all you know. However, that's not the issue. It's his behavior and his drinking, his whole attitude. And it doesn't mix with a Filipina. Filipinos really don't like a guy that drinks. Well, don't get me wrong. There's some Filipinos that could drink you under the table. They do like drinking. You just don't hear about it a lot. Come on occasion or something, Filipinos, a lot of them like to drink. It's more so you hear about the guys drinking and getting drunk and all that stuff. But Filipinos like to drink too. Mine doesn't. Mine does. She don't smoke. She don't drink. Uh, oh, Counterflow says, I read his commenters on the videos. A lot of God bless you, Jim. And you're such a good, I know. You're such a good man, blah, blah, blah. I am in wonder why they see if different than I do. I guess he is threatening divorce. Well, that'd be the best thing in the world. Well, he'd have to. I don't know. I guess you could do that. He could do divorce from America. But I think the way that works, though, I mean, he might be legally divorced from her if he did that, but she would still be considered married in the Philippines, wouldn't she? So she wouldn't be able to get married again. I don't know. Is there some truth to that? How that works? Because I'm not really clear on that. I know there's a lot of people that are, they're just bowing down to a lot of YouTubers on here when they're fucking louses on the skin of society. It makes you wonder. I understand how you're thinking, Counterflow. It makes you wonder why do you worshiping these people? I have no clue. Why they go along with their shit? Why they? I don't know. I don't know. What they see that I'm not seeing, or somebody else is not seeing. Great man Jim is, or whoever it might be. You know, maybe they're just birds of a feather that are just as bad as him, and that's why they can relate to him in some way. It's the only way I could think of. They live that kind of lifestyle or something. They had that kind of attitude. Anyway, I gotta get my act together this morning. Remember what I was saying about on the shit I was taking? The funny thing is, no matter what time you go to bed, you're going to only get that 6 hours, but with disruption in sleep. So I said to myself, if that shit only lasts like 6 hours, if I went to bed at 9, so that's 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That means I'll be getting up at 3 in the morning. Then, if I go to bed at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You can adjust your schedule when you're on shit like this, but you remember what I said about the half-life? I have to mention this again. Yeah. Although that shit stays in your system the whole next day or so, it's not. And you could be a little bit groggy, which could account for why sometimes I'm on my living room chair watching TV and I'm like, nodding out. Let me tell you something. If you don't have to take something, don't take it unless you really need it. Unless you really, really need it. But do research on it. Everybody has their own cross to bear. Even I do. We're all dealing with something. 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 Don't take something if you don't need to take it. If you need to take it if it helps. Just find out if it's the best product to take or not. See, I'm always going to have sleep problems. I will always have sleep problems. It's just the chemistry of my body. It's the chemistry. It doesn't mean I have to be slave to a fucking drug and make Big Pharma really happy. We all got those choices. Sleep is something that we need, brother. If you don't get enough sleep, you get cranky sometimes. Cranky Frankie. Well, deal with it. Yeah, I can get cranky. I certainly can. Well, I'm not like Jim. I don't say things like I don't do things what he does. I got my moments. I've got my moments. But you don't push your woman. You don't talk to her in that way. And I don't care if it's the alcohol. There's no excuse for that. I don't understand why she married this Jim guy anyway. Like I said, I don't know nothing about her. She may not be really angelic, you know what I mean? I don't know much about her. She could be a biggest bitch as he's a bastard. I don't know. But this was not all about her. And I just had to do with that video. that got out, and someone named Leo has a YouTube channel. I got it from Leo, Leo, Leo. How it showed up somewhere, I don't really know, but it did. Hey, my friends, live and learn. You know what I mean? Hey, it's another day. Get educated. Educate yourself on whatever you can. Do something to make your life better, not worse. Promote peace, not violence, not bullshit. I think we all live with enough bullshit in our lives. We don't have to live with it on YouTube either. You're control of your channel. You're control of what you want to listen to. So if you want to criticize somebody on here, guess what? You don't have to listen to their channel. You don't have to follow their channel. I'll say that all the time and mean it. If anybody has any critiquing about me or anybody else, you could always tune out. That's the way it works. There's no reason to follow somebody unless you're just absolutely addicted and obsessed with somebody. For people to make such horrible comments about me or anything, you don't have to go to my channel. You can tune out. Hit like the remote on a TV. You got an on and off button. Plenty of things to watch out there. Plenty. So anyway, I gotta go. We'll leave this on. We're not really taking anything off anymore here. No need. We speak it by truth. There's no reason to take anything off. And please don't ask me anything about Barry anymore, any shit like that. If I knew that he got deported, I'll talk about it. There's really nothing to talk about because I really don't know anything. I know where he is. I know where he's going to stay unless he does certain things he's been ordered to do by the court. I don't know anything else. I'm not hiding anything. I don't know anything else. Whether he's being picked on in there, whether he's got boned up the ass since he's been in there, although he might enjoy it, I don't know. Bring him back to old times, you know. But whatever happens to Barry, happens to Barry. I really don't give a shit. Whether they beat the shit out of him in there, or whether he catches some fucking disease in there, I don't give a shit. I don't care. The damage is already done, what he did with me, and that's over. There's still something that needs to be attended to, and it is. However, it's good night, Irene, to Mr. Barry Lee Jordan. Oh, well, another a little addendum on the Jim and Drexel situation. Boy, I'm sounding like Philippines antics. I know. But after seeing that video that I put on there, how he was treating his wife and how she just wanted a divorce. Well, I can't get divorced. All right, so here comes another video like that was put on about 8 hours ago or 6 hours ago, whatever it was. And they're both out shopping. Just another day. Just another day. I mean, she was pissed off enough with him to videotape his behavior. And she's like, you know, you would think like this chick has had it with him. I mean, she's totally had it. She told me how rude he was and, well, not me, on a tape. She indicated, well, what an asshole he is, okay, pretty much. But yet, she's out shopping with him. I don't understand this. Maybe I do in some way, but it's confusing to people where he's having his drunken stupor moment, and she's pissed off about it. I mean, she's really pissed off because, she's seen this behavior with him before. But yet, they're out shopping together. It's another day. Apparently, she wasn't that affected by his behavior. Maybe she's used to this. Maybe she's just in fear of him, that he's going to slam her or something. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Good morning, Pennywise. So if you saw that Jim and Drexel, video that I put on, you would generally say to yourself, fuck, that ain't no relationship. That ain't gonna last. That the guy is a fucking drunkard. A very volatile drunk who has knocked his wife beyond belief. And probably, of course it's just an assumption, probably has been very physical with her. But they're out shopping. It's like it never happened. He's talking like it never happened. He doesn't talk about the previous videos, where he was on camera by his own wife, videotaping his behavior and his very violent demeanor, his attitude. But they're out shopping together. Yeah, maybe the money's too good to leave him. She will put up with the behavior as long as the money keeps flowing. And that's sad. Well, okay, the money is usually a denominator in a lot of relationships. But to put up with that kind of shit, nobody should. Because she's just enabling that kind of behavior. There is no excuse for his being drunk or not. I mean, this guy has two different personalities. One is completely opposite from the other. Violent, a very volatile, violent man. She will put up his behavior as long as the money. Yeah. Well, that's part of her life that she's wasting, as far as I can see it. I understand about the money situation with some of them, but still, then he won't go back to the, I don't know, what residence they have out there. Always says because he's got the court case next week. Now, he doesn't want to confront those neighbors that he gave shit to and caused something very violent to happen. I think he knows better not to go back to the neighborhood where it all happened. Pennywise says she's not wasting her life. She already has 4 kids that are teens, so she needs the money. Well, I understand part of that, but how much are you willing to degrade yourself by putting up with that kind of shit? How much are you willing to do, even for the money? I don't know. To each his own. So basically, whatever happens between them two, she's doing it to herself. She wants to stay in that relationship. And let's say it is monetarily related. A lot of times it is. Whatever happens to her is her own doing, really. And she's willing to put up with his drunken stupors and how vile and violent he can be, then she can't afford to complain. If you hadn't looked at that video that he passed around, in which she's, down-talking him the way she did because of his behavior. I mean, he's the one that was threatening divorce to her, I think. Well, there is no divorce, first of all. I don't understand what they're talking about. There's no divorce, obviously. So, the neighbors are her family. Are they family members? Well, some pretty crappy shit went down, according to him. And he's blaming the neighbors or whatever he had that big hassle with, It wasn't really them. I'm kind of doubting it. Filipinos are not that confrontational, If something has to show. In fact, my girlfriend forwarded a video of me, some older American guy having a big argument with a Filipino trike driver over some money or something, and he was like totally losing it, And that's what makes us look really bad out here. The Philippines has a great relationship with America and so forth, and we want to keep it that way. But, when you get these kind of people that move in here, it doesn't give us a really good name. That's why a lot of Filipinos find a lot of Americans to be totally arrogant and obnoxious and cocky, and no, that's the truth. I have to agree with him on that. A better than thou attitude, They look down at the life of Filipinos, the way they live, and they even talk about it on their YouTube channels, the ones that have YouTube channels. Remember, you're not here to control their culture or anything like that, You're here to live within the culture here, despite how many bugaboos you may find to be. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, that was the water delivery people picking up our empty bottles. Pennywise says, hate to say it, but Jim's future in the Philippines might be in jail since he cannot control his temper. Yeah, I understand that there are circumstances that can make you act that way, but it's really not something. Why do you think I've refrained from doing certain stuff with certain people? Because this is not the place to do it. It could really work against you, especially out here. No, he's not made for the Philippines. Jim is not made for the Philippines. He could not last out here. He'd wind up dead or wind up in jail or whatever. I mean, I don't even understand what his intent is anyway. He's living part-time in America, away from his wife, and then he comes over for a while. I mean, how does that work out? Is my famous 13 out here. I mean, how does that work out? It's not much of a relationship, but, you can maintain a relationship from another state, whatever, I guess. And sometimes it's better off that the chick doesn't see the guy and limits her time with him. He's still going to send her money and everything else, and that's all. Well, it's according to the Filipino. That's a blanket statement. I don't want to make such. But in a lot of situations, hey, I'll take the money. Just like, OFW workers, they're gone most of the time. And they just send their money home, and the chick is all happy with that. She has no problem with that. He'll come back, spend some time before they renew his contract or whatever, and he goes back again. And they don't spend much time together, but he just sends the money over, and she's happy with that. And they communicate over the phone, and that can work for some people. Or maybe that works for them. I don't know. The thing about being grounded, that's like a big thing with me. You're either going to be here or you're not going to be here. And if you're forced not to be here, you can still have a relationship, but it's not the same thing, but you can still make things work if you care to. But I think in Jim's situation, he belongs in America. That's he has the attitude. He's like a walking Karen is what he is, It doesn't take much to trigger him, apparently. I don't avidly watch his show. I just, if I happen to see it was live or something, what is he going to be bitching about today? It's one of those things, They're always bitching about something on here, but yet they move here to the Philippines and they stay here. Or a British guy that's always on. And there's so many channels, and you're hearing the same shit over and over again. I don't mean just the troll shit. I mean, these are people who do shows on here, and on one hand, they're just trying to say, oh, how dangerous it is to live out here. Watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself. Then then there's a little violin in the background playing a song, some serene show about how wonderful the Philippines is, and then they go off into another tangent, and then the percussion comes in, bum, 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 about the Philippines and volatile place, and gotta watch this, you gotta watch that, you gotta watch this. Oh, don't leave your house, period. Don't even go to the store, don't do anything. But if you have to live in the Philippines like that, the only trouble you're going to get into out here is if you do something that is very much against the culture of the Filipinos out here, something that, getting into some physical confrontation, that'll do it. You never come out ahead on that. You just never come out ahead on that. Never. It just makes things worse. And although Filipinos are known to be the friendliest people in the world, don't get them pissed off. Mark my words on that, don't get them pissed off. Because there's more of them than there is of you out here. Keep that in mind. And they all got big families. That's one thing you got to think about. They all got big families. Every Filipino has a huge family. 20 aunts and uncles, 200 cousins, how many brothers and sisters. You don't want to mess with that. You're outnumbered. You're outnumbered. You're outnumbered. So don't do shit like that. Well, this will be the last mention of really Jim and Dexel. Dexel. Never heard of a name like that on a Filipino. Dexel. 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 As I said, I don't know anything about her. She could be the biggest biatch in the world. I don't know that. But if she's willing to put up with this shit, then she shouldn't even talk about it. She shouldn't even do a video on it. She shouldn't even... Oh, like everything is normal now. They're out shopping like nothing ever happened. What does that say? Like nothing ever happened. That means that she's willing to tolerate his bullshit for money or what? Or she just likes that kind of entanglement, that back and forth stuff. Some people get off on that shit, I don't know. There's nothing special about that guy at all. He's a big mouth. He could be really obnoxious, and his mouth gets him in trouble, besides, of course, being a drunkard. That don't work well in the Philippines. Shopping therapy is good for, getting free food, right? Well, guys, the good thing is it's not our life. It's not yours. It's theirs. We're just talking about it, and we're just talking about the video I see. She could do whatever she wants in that relationship. So can any other Filipino or foreigner in a relationship, It is their business after all. We talk about that business because we're trying to make a point to show you how fucked up a lot of these foreigners are that come into this country. But it's not always the foreigners. Yes, foreigners have, truthfully, yes, foreigners have been taken advantage of by Filipinos. We hear that every freaking day. Wouldn't be lying about that. Works both ways. But you got to find a balance somewhere. Dexel is probably a combination of her parents' names, Dexter and Celia. Celia, you're breaking my heart. Losing my confidence, baby. Oh, Cecilia. Well, to each his own, man. That's their relationship. It ain't mine. It ain't yours. They gotta live with each other, or wait for each other, or whatever. Yes, Filipinos with children, they find themselves in a situation where they do become dependent on the foreigners' money. And that's why they're willing to settle these arguments. Although they're fiery inside the way they're feeling about them, that they're willing to put up with that shit just to get supported. I don't do any of that kind of shit with my girlfriend. I don't maintain that kind of attitude, and I'm not physical in that way, and she never has anything to worry about in that department, ever. And since this relationship is not based on money, we're far ahead of some other people on here, that's for sure, because of that. Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. Whatever. Oh, that lemon is, it's tart. Put a shitload of lemon in my tea. It'll help with potential kidney stones, but it would take a long time to really break down anything that you might have existing. But that's another show. Thank goodness. I don't feel like getting into health matters again. Oh, the flies are out like crazy, man. We got to keep the doors shut, and they're everywhere. For the rains or something, I don't know. Maybe it's fly breeding season. Got to get out the fly swatter. So, the wonderful thing about YouTube is you get to see different facets of people's personalities on here. And boy, we have learned a lot, haven't we? By some of our regular YouTubers on here. The very obnoxious ones. The biggest sinners on here that pointing their finger at everybody else and pointing out their faults when they're just full of faults. It's easy to do to point out somebody else's deficiencies or inadequacies or downfalls or whatever, but they're all perfect, they're all perfect. Of course they are. Okay, that's all I think I have to really say for this morning. I gotta get my shit together today here. I haven't even eaten breakfast because I don't even know what the hell to eat anymore. I can't have oatmeal every morning. I might put together some eggs or something. I'm not sure, really. You could have oatmeal every day, but sometimes too much fiber is a little bit too much, guys. Trust me on that. It's good, but, I don't feel like having it every single day. And there's not enough protein in it. I got to get my protein. I do not get enough protein every day. I thought I was, but I'm not. That's why I always keep peanuts around here all the time. I always take a handful or two of peanuts every day besides anything else. Sometimes I just don't even know what to eat. Even if I had food around, a lot of food around. We haven't done any major shopping, There's no major shopping to do over here in town. There's some produce you can get. There's eggs you can buy. There's even a place that does sell some ribeye steaks here and there, and occasionally a T-bone or whatever. They might have some different steaks in there. I could have steak and eggs for breakfast or something, or dinner or something like that. You'll pay through your nose, but hey, it's just the way it is. If you want something, you got to pay the price. Yeah, I should really do that. I don't know. I couldn't take it with me. Before I moved out of Hawaii, I had these garage sales, sell all the shit I didn't need, And I had a big old burger, brand new. I only used it once or twice. I think it probably was whey protein. Expensive. Fuck, I sold that for like a couple of bucks or something. That should have been something I should have brought with me. So that wasn't cheap, actually. Yeah. Well, here's the thing with, taking a protein. Unless you work it off, it's just going to turn to fat anyway. As soon as you get older, you need to take, I guess this is turning into a hotel, oh my gosh. You do need more protein as you get older. So that's something I will have to try. I don't know what the best is. But the thing is, and I'm totally not an expert on nutrition. I'm really not, but I'm a little cloudy on this too, because my understanding is you could push in a lot of protein unless you work it off. For example, the same as a dog food, for example. If you got dogs that are very, you know, laid back and they don't run around a whole lot and get a lot of exercise, you don't want to feed them a dog food that has a lot of protein in it. That's just going to, turn into poundage. So it's really cool. You say take the protein and all that. Yeah, I understand, but if you're not terribly active, I mean, I do exercise here and there, but I just it may not be enough to take protein and utilize that protein. Because you gotta work it off. You have to, in order for that protein to turn into muscle and everything else, you gotta work it. Buy Atleen. No, I have the almond drink. I drink every day, but no, you're right. It doesn't have as much protein. Atleen brand protein. I walk and work out. Yes, Frank, you. I do enough to take it. Okay. Okay. Oh, what do we got? Speaking of food, what is that? It's eggs, but it.
Egg, potatoes.
Oh, it's like eggs and potatoes. What do you call this? Check this out. And the green you got in here is what? Onion?
Yeah, spring onion.
Ah, there's my protein. So it's eggs mixed with what? Potatoes?
Potatoes.
Ah.
They scratch.
Ah.
Right.
Ah.
Potatoes. Yeah.
Mmm.
See?
That is good. And we made this before. And you could actually make potatoes and you could fry them up or whatever. Ah, check this out. And it's yummy too. You can add cheese to this if you have it. Let's try another piece here. Oh man. Actually is yummy. I gotta do something before I do this. Cover this. Well, thank you for making that, Gilda. I appreciate that. Did you have any of that? Are you making more? Oh. Oh, but you used what kind of oil?
Olive oil.
Oh, you did use the olive oil.
No more naman already.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you used the olive oil. I tell you, she gets creative. Well, that's something I'd even eat in New York. I mean, you could make, well, they used to sell these called potato knishes if you come from the East Coast. I think it was a Jewish thing. Potato knishes. They were really good. Potato knishes. Yeah. Potatoes, they go a long way. As well as things like rice. You could do anything with rice. But as I said, I'm not a big 100% rice person. Potatoes, yes, I have to admit that. Sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. It's all good to me. It's all good to me. I know, carbohydrates, everything else, but oh well. Sometimes I'm willing to sacrifice, for the carbs. I'm good. I'm glad you're eating some of that too. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that. She always comes through for me. She really does. She always puts something together to make sure I eat well. She really does. I got to give her that credit. I'll give her a lot of credit. My relationship is nothing like Jim and Dexel's at all. Not even remotely. Why just a thumbs up on here? Come on, folks. It don't matter. And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to enjoy finishing that. And my green tea with lemon. Didn't add the turmeric this time. Well, it looks like it is sunny out, but there are some high clouds. I'm telling you, we've had a lot of rain lately. I heard that in, there's one spot, over Mandawi where you're going to go into Lapu Lapu. You know that old bridge over there? That's kind of like where, there's a place where Jay likes to rent over there, by the way, when he comes here. Deeply flooded. just deeply flooded. There's really depressed areas where the rain just builds up like crazy. And apparently we're going to have a very wet season out here. It was totally different than last year. You remember last year, and I showed you the grounds outside there, the field, dry as a bone. Cows didn't even have enough to eat. One even died. I don't know, maybe a combination of nutrition and water too. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't exactly have a coroner over here, someone do an autopsy on a damn thing, but I imagine both contributed. No problem this year. I mean, we've been getting enough rain. Now we got a nice little breeze here this morning. Nice little breeze. Anyway, everything has been copacetic. As I said, life goes on every day until it can't. I'm happy. I face my adversities when they come, and that's all I do. But my life goes on every day as usual. No matter how exciting or unexciting you might find my life, it does go on. But I'm just noticing a lot more. I hear people's videos, I watch videos, and I'm actually questioning, are they really happy out here? Or is it all one big facade? They have nothing to go back to, perhaps, or so they're trying to overplay their life out here. Although they don't do that, do they? We know a lot of people try to overplay their life out here. Are they really having a wonderful life out here for their retirement? That's very questionable. And you have to watch these shows to understand why you would even question that, But people are going to, produce on their shows whatever they want to produce. How life is so wonderful for them out here, but yet you're going to hear them bitching about the Philippines quite often. What holds you here? Is it your relationship? Or do you have children? Or I don't know, what holds you here? That maybe you don't have anything back in the country you came from? You got to ask yourself these questions now and then. Me, I could live anywhere and survive. I could live anywhere for a lot of different reasons. Unlike some of these vloggers. Okay, I'm going to go enjoy my break fast. Does that look good? See, green onion in there. A lot of protein. Eggs are such a complete food. Amino acids, all kinds of stuff. And yummy. So when you say you combined it with potatoes, what did you do? Did you shred some potatoes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Flies again. Yeah, we gotta learn to keep these doors shut. There's one thing that irritates me when I'm eating. It could be in a restaurant. Unfortunately, out here, there's a lot of restaurants that are kind of open-doored kind of thing, You can't sit down and enjoy a meal without some fly wanting to jump on your food. If I had a bugaboo, and I'm using the right word, bugaboo, that would be it. I like to enjoy a meal when there's no flies. And if I'm in a restaurant, there's plenty of flies. You got to cover your, if you have a mango shake, I find myself putting putting this over it. If you're going to leave your food for a second, you do the same thing. You do this. Cover it up if you have to get up and do something, whatever. Still be there. They're coming for you. You just cover it up. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like bugs on my food. And maybe Filipinos are not as bothered as a lot of us Westerners are because they're so used to flies on their food that it's just really nothing. If happening to get in their food, it's free protein. Okay, that's generalizing, and I say they're all like that. Just making a joke here. But yeah, I'd like to eat something where flies are not going to be infiltrating my meal. Even sweaty skin, they go on your skin all the time. You're sweating, right? They're flying on you. You got a wound, I got a wound that's healing on my leg, and they still want to go for it. They know blood, and they're amazing. They're amazing. And I've had my tea here, which is a green tea, but I inundated it with squeezed lemon. But if you're going to drink lemon juice, you better brush your teeth, because otherwise it's going to rot your teeth out. That's the drawback. Yeah, that's not a bad breakfast. I opted out on any toast because I just don't want to eat too many carbs. God, I'm getting itchy just thinking about these freaking flies. Bring the swatter around here. Bring the swatter. Yeah, put that fan on. Yeah, why we don't have the fan on in here? She already finished hers. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish mine. Anyway, I thought I'd do a addendum to the show I did this morning regarding good old Jim and Dexel. It's a very volatile relationship. You can't stay in a relationship like that. But some Filipinos are forced to because of the fact that the guy is financing her life and her children. Her kid is going to be going to college, so there's a hint right there. I don't know. I know he's applying for something. He has to go to Dumaguete for something. But this is what binds people together. Thank you, Princess Anne. And it's a shame that it has to be that way, but in a lot of circumstances, Filipinos get themselves in that position. Maybe they're not working or can't find a job or something. But they need the finances in order to live their life. You become so dependent on the foreigner that you can't have it any other way, so you're willing to put up with a whole lot of shit, which they shouldn't. Nobody should ever put up with that kind of crap. Life is too short, it's too precious, and as time goes by, I could think of another relationship, and you know who I'm talking about, where the woman kind of hangs in there for him, even though she knows that there's never going to be a future with the guy, you know. Then you start getting old, and it's really harder to meet somebody else. It really is. Even Filipino to Filipino out here, I mean, doesn't have to be a relationship with a foreigner. It gets very difficult. Meanwhile, your life is just flying by you, where you could be spending it with somebody that's worthwhile. And not just for the money, but to have some kind of a future and have a really good relationship and not have to stay with somebody just because you're feeling forced to because of your economics. But a lot of that does happen. And a lot of them are forced to. Oh, there goes my napkin. Fan blew it away. Okay, we're done with breakfast, and I'm done with the show. So as far as to sum that up, I don't think we need to talk about Jim and Dexel anymore unless something else happens. The only reason I share this with you is it's just taking a slice of life and producing it and having people see what the real deal is on here. And we don't mean Jay, there's nothing real about him. It's just saying that nothing is as perfect as people try to, project on here. You know, they're not going to tell you about their real life and all the crap that's going on under it. They want to hide that from everybody. But you can't hide it from yourself. You're the one that's living that life with the partner you chose. Were they meant for you? Or is it a relationship of convenience? Is it a business relationship? Or are you older and you have medical problems and you need an actual caretaker? All that plays into it. Pennywise says, Frank, if Jim got mad about this video and tried to pay you a visit, what would you do? I had a guy's in enough trouble. He ain't gonna. I didn't put that video on. Somebody named Leo, Leo. That's where I got it. I don't know. It showed up in my YouTube feed or something. And I seen it. I said, oh. Hey, his wife produced it. I didn't, I'm not worried about Jim. Jim's in enough trouble. He's got this court case going, And he could be in a world of hurt. You got to keep your cool out here. If you don't, look, I understand you come across, and I have come across circumstances with people, YouTubers out here, that believe me, that there's things I would like to do, but I know that I cannot do it. Unless actually it's initiated by the other person, then okay, that's a different story. But I'm talking about things physical, The reality is, I'm not a young man I used to be, and it's not something I want to get into, is physical fights with anyone. And I do mean anyone. I know my limitations. I know my capabilities too, but either way, it's not worth getting into a physical confrontation with anybody out here. Nothing good can come out of it. Absolutely nothing good. It never does. And it never will. Try to live your life quiet out here, other than like your social media stuff. And every one of us has a responsibility to ourselves and what we produce on our shows. It could invite trouble when you least expect it. There's always somebody that's going to differ with your opinion, your philosophy, and your outlooks and everything else. Somebody's always going to try to find fault with you. That's just the way it is. I don't think you could ever get away from that. We choose to be on social media, so it's all our own responsibilities. Those that comment, those that have their own shows, it's all our own responsibilities, what we put out there on social media. That's including myself. We all have a responsibility. And to ourselves. I never said it was easy living out here in the Philippines. It can be quite challenging. And it is in so many ways. And there's a fly on my arm. It can be very challenging, but it's according to how you want to live your life. Don't be out in the limelight all the time in town. You go about your business, say hello to the people you know. If you're in a bad mood or something, don't show somebody else you're in a bad mood, because they make a lot of judgment on you out here. Filipinos are not confrontational initially, so they can make a big judgment on you. If you're out there arguing with your spouse or something in the streets, they're not going to think very well of you. Maybe they thought well of you before, but that's not something they like to put up with. They will instantly develop their own judgment on you, shall I say. Well, he ain't the nice guy I thought he was. Because Filipinos, one thing they don't like, don't show your temperament out in public when you're out with them. They don't like that at all. Even if they have the worst relationship in the world, don't, do it in your home, do it in your bedroom, do it in the living room. But don't put that negative part of your life out in public streets. Pennywise says, Jim boasts about his MMA training and is itching to use it. I don't know about his MMA training. I know he works out, but Jim could exaggerate a lot of shit too. As most people do on here. I don't exaggerate anything. I just tell it like it is. I even say I'm no superhero on here. Doesn't mean I could beat everybody's ass that's adverse to me and I could knock them to the pavement. That's not a true statement. I wouldn't know. I would not know. Unless I actually did get into a confrontation. Then I'll know. I have to also adjust to the fact of my age, and a lot of other factors. And I do measure that in. I'm no superhero. I am no superhero. I never said I was. Martial arts training? Shit. That was when I was a kid. Although I do know a lot of stuff, but, the question is, will that apply in a real life situation, though? Will it apply or not? It will not always apply. We're not going to tell somebody, okay, you got to stand in this position so I can do a roundhouse on you, or whatever. I mean, that's not a controllable situation. Or you may not be close enough to a person to do something, knock his knees out, whatever. Or use your elbows on his face, or shove your hands up his fucking nostrils and knock him out. There's a lot of things you can do if the opportunity exists. But they're not going to stand there for you. Okay, I'm going to hold this position and show me what you can do, pal. Show me what you can do. That doesn't work that way. In a real street fight or something, anything goes. It gets down and dirty. Remember, it's your life. You're fighting for. When you're in a fight, it's a real thing. The guy's not out there, and you're not out there to tickle the other guy, make him laugh. It's not like that. They want to hurt you, and you want to hurt them. It's a very volatile situation. Somebody could die. You hit him the wrong or right way, according to how you want to look at it. You can kill him. I got to sneeze. Oh, a real physical fight? No, that was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago. Long time ago. Every little fight I've ever had, I was always successful. So as far as my track record, no, I don't get in a lot of fights, but the ones I ever did, I was the successful one. But alas, my friends, I'm not little Frankie anymore. I have limitations, as well as anybody does at my age. Do I speak not the truth? Am I trying to sound really cocky? No, I'm not. Absolutely not. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know. I don't know what limitations I have until I try. I don't know. Will you remember all these moves and all this different shit that you've learned? You might or you may not. Things may happen just too quickly. Just think, okay, now remember if I do this and do that, and he's in this position, I could get him this way. I could do a chokehold, I could do this, I could do that. I could knock his knees out and he's down, no matter how big he is. Yeah, well, that's true, but they're not going to stand. Okay, strike a pose. Strike a pose. They're not going to strike a pose for you, my friends. They're going to be fighting you. They're not going to stand there and say, okay, show me what you got. I'll stand this way and show me your moves, Frankie. God, it just doesn't work that way. Not in a real fight. It don't work that way. Be realistic. I am. I don't want to get into a physical confrontation with anybody. There's certain people out there that I'd love to kick their fucking ass from here to kingdom come. But there are consequences to that. So the best thing I can say, if somebody raises a fist at you, it gives you that poetic license to fight back. That's all I can tell you. And you do the best you can. And if you're successful, you're successful. If you wind up getting knocked down to the pavement, then you get knocked down to the pavement. That's it. No ifs and buts about it. No hero talk, nothing like that. Not trying to be a hero. Not trying to be a tough guy. I'm just saying that I'll do what I feel I need to do if I came into that kind of situation. Certainly not going to stand there or run away. I'm just not going to do that. I couldn't live with myself if I did that. You just don't know me personally. If you knew me personally, you'd understand that. And I am speaking thy truth, I will tell you that. You'd have to get me off you. You'd have to peel me off you. Breathing hard or whatever, or exhausted or whatever, you'd have to peel me off your body to get rid of me. Or just knock me the fuck out or kill me. Whatever works, it goes for, I am crazy when it comes to something like that. I'm fucking stone-ass fucking crazy when it comes to something like that with self-preservation. Oh, I absolutely am. Mine's in overdrive. I don't know about you. I can only speak about me. I'm in overdrive on that. then they make an enemy for life with me. They wouldn't want me as an enemy. And I don't mean physically. A lot of things you could do with people to kind of mess up their life. There is. They make them wish that they never confronted you at all. I ain't got a lot to lose, man. I'm fucking 71 years old, you know what I'm saying? Who knows what I do? But you know things that I do, don't you? I wouldn't be lying about that, would I? I told you, man. I'm not crazy per se, diagnosed the guy's fucking crazy. But I'm saying I can be crazy. I can be. It's according to what the situation is. If it's self-preservation, yeah, then I'd be a crazy motherfucker. No matter what age I am, or how big I am, or how much muscle I don't have, or do have, or how tall I am, I'm somebody to contend with, I'll tell you that. Why do I say that? Because you see, I know myself. I know myself. Oh, did I get him? Yeah, I did. Got that little fucker. That fly didn't know what was coming. There's the point. They didn't know what was coming. Obama. Yeah, Obama. I am the same way protecting my family. I would die for them. I'm 71. I don't know what I got to lose, really. I'm 71. I got 1 foot on the grave and 1 foot in the fucking banana peel. Let's face it. Oh, I'm sure I'll probably have a longer life than some of these people on here. But I'm just saying, if I go down, I go down. And that's not tough man talk. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't care who you are. No, I'm not going to cower away from anybody. That won't happen. I didn't cower away from Ricky, did I? He's a big motherfucker, wasn't he? You seen what happened in SNR, right? Did I cower away from him? No, I didn't. I told him like it was. I said, you got something to say about me. You got a problem with me. I'm right here in front of you. Do what you got to do, brother. Did I not do that? Is that a lie? You saw that all on camera, didn't you? Okay, so I mean what I say. I didn't care how big fucking Ricky was. Could he inflict some major damage on me? Sure. Oh, absolutely. Don't underestimate a big guy like Ricky. Now, he did a cowardice thing with Fazio, of course, behind him. That was cowardice. That was absolutely cowardice. Although we cheered him doing that. We did, because, Fazio was a fucking creep. And we cheered, and I cheered it on. But then when you look at it another way, that wasn't the way to go about it. But, Fazio was a senior. Bad shape, health-wise and everything. No, he wouldn't be the person to do that to. In retrospect, I don't think it was right what was done. That was not right. It really was. No matter how you look at it, at any angle, that simply was not right what he did. Yeah, Ricky can hurt somebody if he wants to, but I don't think Ricky's in shape to go the distance with anybody. No matter how small they may be in comparison to him. I don't think Ricky could go the distance. It would have to be quick, punch the guy out or something, or grab him on a chokehold or something. I don't know. Then it's over with. But Ricky will try to avoid these situations. But sometimes you wonder, because he's confronted a lot of people in really bad ways with his attitude. And I keep on saying that one day he's going to meet his match, and somebody's going to beat the living shit out of him. And he's not really he's not in good shape. I'd understand if he was all muscle, but the guy is absolutely obese. He's got high blood pressure. It only takes something to trigger his blood pressure. He could not have the sustainability in a physical confrontation. He just really couldn't. There's no way in the world. So Ricky needs to adjust his attitude. He needs an attitude adjustment. Because someday that might actually happen. Same as Brevis, Brevis had a shiner. Remember that time I showed a picture of him with a shiner? He got into it with somebody, because that's who Brevis is. That's what Brevis does. And one day, somebody's going to get their ass really just licked. Literally and figuratively, maybe, according to who the person is. So, what I'm saying is that watch who you're dealing with, because you really don't know somebody else. Even Barry.
Barry might have a few tricks up his sleeve, right? You don't know. Well, I doubt it with Barry, okay, but I'm exaggerating. Yeah. But you never know. He might get a lucky shot in. You don't know. You don't know. But the same thing with Barry. He's not in good physical shape to have any kind of endurance in a physical confrontation. He'd be coughing his lungs out. He'd be spitting up phlegm. His heart will be racing. Barry's not in good shape either. He never was. As an example, I think Barry played all his cards, game over. Yeah, that's why he's not like a daily subject with mine anymore here. People bring him up, or I may bring him up now and then, but it's over. I mean, the court case is over with Barry. It's done. And he'll have to pay the piper. And I'm one of the pipers he has to pay. That's the only way he's getting out of prison. And never mind his little comments he makes now and then. Oh, I'm doing well here, considering the circumstances. Well, maybe he get locked out and he don't have the gang members around him. I've seen enough about these prisons to know that they're not exactly a pleasant place. Now, by the way, there are some prisons that are very well run by the inmates, by the way. Not even by the guards. The inmates take on this responsibility and they get benefits for it, and that's why they do it. They get their own little bunk somehow, a little room with maybe some amenities. They get fed better food. And you know, if they can live better in prison, they're going to do something. They're going to honor the guards, you know, and they're going to take out that proverbial, well, not proverbial, it's real, paddle, and paddle the shit out of somebody to enforce their position that was afforded to them. They're going to do whatever they have to do because they don't want to lose those privileges. And they got to keep face, too, in prison. They have to keep face. Otherwise, they're going to be picked on by somebody else. So to be in a position, I don't know, let's call them trustees. I guess they're called trustees, right? Vision says, trashing Frisbee is a pastime for me. Please continue. Well, we're not here to trash Frisbee. He did with his life what he did with his life. This, you know, it doesn't go more than that. And even when he does go back to the States, I think some of his disasters, well, I think there's going to be more disasters coming his way. The child support he owes, any bench warrants he has out on him. And so he's never going to be able to come in this country again. He's been convicted, and as such is a convicted felon, which he is. Technically, he's a convicted felon. There's no question. There is none. Even if you have some doubts in your head. No, it's not going to be a 1-year thing. It's not going to be a 5-year thing. It's not going to be a 10-year thing. No. Once he leaves this country, it's over. He's not coming. In fact, his passport, even right now, is expired, I think. Amongst everything else he owes on penalties and all that shit. So, no, he's not coming back in this country. That's never going to happen. And if he's trying to fool himself to think otherwise, or he wants to hang on for him, it's fine. That's her life, and she wants to waste it and get old and, you know, dribble away while she's waiting for some kind of miracle to happen with him. There's no miracle to happen with him. There's none. There's absolutely no miracle that's going to happen with Mr. Barry Lee Jordan. None. It don't exist. Not going to happen. But, you know, he got himself into that. He's got nobody to blame but himself. He's always trying to find blame with somebody else. He's got nobody to blame but himself. And that goes for anybody out here. You got yourself to blame for a situation, if it applies. And this is no place out here, as you very well know, to get into trouble in the Philippines. It's just not the place. It never will be the place. Keep everything clean. And if you got to do YouTube shows, I mean, I don't have a problem to that point of you guys talking about somebody on here if it's relevant in some way. And I don't have a problem talking about it myself, you know, if it's relevant or current or whatever. But I'm not going to do a show every single day trashing somebody every single fucking day. I got a lot more to talk about than these idiots. And I do. I talk about a lot of different topics on here. Or else I'd bore myself to death. There's times I've came on here and I just decided to cut it off because I was just dribbling and drabbing and, finding something to say. That's when I'll take the show off or something. I'll delete it and say, God, that was fucking boring, even for me. Pick a new person every day. No, that's not my makeup there, Region. Look, I understand you people just looking for drama. As much as you come on my show and you like to support me in some ways, I know most of you are trolls, okay? Let's just get this out in the open. But an audience is an audience, whether you're a troll or not. And as long as you contribute to the show somehow, certainly not financially, because I'm not set up for that, and that's not what I'm looking for. If you could get something out of my show, fine, watch it. But if you want to critique every damn thing I do, I suggest you look in the mirror first and reflect on your own life. I know that most of the people who come on my show are trolls. And some of them that come on there every day, Now, I'm not going to do that shit with guests. I don't even do any live. I don't do any StreamYard shit. In fact, I tried to do it once and it just didn't work or something. I don't know why I have problems with all this shit technically. I do. I'm definitely technically challenged. That's for damn sure. But my heart is not really into it like some people, Like Philippine Antics, there's like an application. You could just punch in your name or what name do you want to use in the song, and this AI shit, they can make a song out of something and promote your show, and you pay for this, and they do that all the time. And I'm not that into YouTube to do that. I'm just really not. To go to that distance to do that. I don't mind vlogging and talking about this and that, but I'm not going that far. I don't have that kind of show with 100,000 or more subs. And by the way, we're working on almost 7 soon or something? And like I said, I'm not buying my viewers. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not buying my viewers. Maybe somebody's buying me a few subs now and then and maybe try to encourage me to stay on YouTube. But no, I'm not buying any subs. Oh, that's why I know someone's buying. I'm going to tell you something. I went to look at my subscriber list. And believe it or not, probably half of my subscribers, all Korean names. You telling me that a bunch of Koreans are listening to my show? I don't think so. I wish I had a screenshot of that right now. More than half of my subscribers are Korean names. Go figure. So somebody actually is probably buying me, and maybe it goes to some South Korean outfit or something. They're making money by, and they know how to, they have that technical knowledge to know how to give people subs and all that stuff. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. But if you saw my subscriber list, I'm telling you, maybe even more than half is Korean from what I can see on the names and so forth. It's Korean. I'm not shitting you. It's Korean. I was shocked. I said, don't tell me a bunch of Koreans are watching my show. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. So somebody is buying me subs, obviously. It's not like a dramatic change in subscribers, not really dramatic, but it's noticeable. So somebody out there does not want me to get off YouTube, and they're buying me subscribers. Okay, well, it works for me, but it doesn't really work for me because I'm not monetized, and I probably could be. No, I probably can't, actually. Because I've had people try to strike me, and I might have had a couple of strikes every now and again. You have anything on your record at all, it's going to prevent your monetization. But I'm not trying to be monetized. I don't care either way. Why, you think I'm going to make money on my show? How generous were people to me when I was monetized a long time ago? You'd have to choke people by the neck to get them to open their wallets to me. It works for some people on the big drama channels like, Big Kevin or something, but it's never worked for me. People are afraid to donate because they're afraid of what other people are going to think about them, that you donated. They don't want to be attacked by other people. That's what it's all about. Well, my show has never been about monetization anyway. I could do PayPal, all that shit. I could add all that shit on. That doesn't take nothing. You don't need to have 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 watch hours or whatever. Anybody, I guess, could add these things on there like PayPal and all that shit. Gcash. I haven't even been pushing. I got a Gcash number. I haven't even been pushing it. Do you see me putting that in my description box? I did it a few times, and I just said, "Oh fuck, I forgot about it." I've had a couple of people when I put my Gcash out that donated, but there's not gonna be a lot of people that donate. They're always afraid I'm going to say, "Oh, who donated to me?" They don't want it. They don't want it to be known. So obviously, it's not about the money after all, and it shouldn't be. If you want to be a good vlogger, it's not about the money. But I understand we are a capitalist society. Can anybody out there not use a few more $100 a month, or 1,000, or 2, or 4,000, or whatever? Sure, even I could. Who doesn't want more money? But I don't go out of my way to try to make it. Otherwise, I'd be pushing my Gcash. I'd have a PayPal on there, all those goodies. Maybe buy me a coffee. I don't know what it takes to get that. But you guys wouldn't give to me anyway. You're too afraid of what other people think. That's the problem. So getting monetized, what's the difference? It's not worth the effort. Anyway, we'll kind of end this thing on Jim and Drexel. We can follow them a little bit. And the only reason I even talk about it is just to prove once and for all that not everybody's enjoying their life in the Philippines. Not all these couples are great couples, and there's a lot of volatility in their life, a lot of volatile shit going on. They're not going to show you. I mean, I don't know Don C's relationship with his wife. He's not going to tell you. He probably spends more time waiting for me to put a show on than he does spend with his own wife. That applies to a lot of other people too. They live for my show. And it's pretty goddamn sad. I'm not that important. I'm not. I'm not that important. I'm just a regular guy. Well, a regular guy who speaks his mind, which a lot of people are afraid to. I'm not the cattle in society. I've never been. I think I made that abundantly clear on here. I'm never going to be the cattle in society. That's just not who I am at all cost. And I mean at all cost. That's never going to be me. And people don't like that about me. I wasn't born a cow. And I'm not going to follow anybody and follow them over a cliff. With that being said, I got to go. I haven't even showered yet. And I got to do a little isometrics or something this morning. Gets too hot. So Jim and Drexel, yeah, we could definitely follow on that situation, but I think our discussion was pretty good about what we think about what's going on with them. And nobody should treat his wife that way. That guy's lucky to get any woman. And if he was that wonderful in America, because he's a big egocentric central guy, that he'd be able to get an American woman. That's why he chose a Filipina. He figures that it might be more tolerable to his bullshit because, well, he's putting out money. That shouldn't be a reason to stay with a foreigner. That shouldn't be a reason to marry a foreigner because it's your life. You make that as the denominator if you're that kind of Filipina that's doing that. And that's the denominator of the relationship, then you're not living a happy life. So the question is, how much are you willing to put up with to stay in that relationship? And some Filipinos are forced to be in a relationship because they don't have any money. And they might have children. They got to take care of them. They figure, well, let me tough it out. Maybe until Junior finishes college or something, and she's achieved everything she needs to achieve at that far. Then she can get rid of him. That's the way it works, unfortunately. Fortunately for them, but unfortunately in the whole picture of this, you shouldn't be in a relationship that's not really working out. Life is precious, and you should be with somebody that you want to be with, that you know you get along with very well, and you're never going to put yourself in a position like we witness on here with these people. Because the way I see it, if you're happy in a relationship, you're going to be faithful to your wife or girlfriend. And when you're not faithful, what does that say about the real love you have for her? What does it say about respect? There's no respect when you got more than one partner. And the chick will put up with that shit too. We have a case like that going on out here. No names mentioned, but it is what it is, I guess. If she's willing to put up with his antics and she's getting provided for handsomely, and she's willing to do whatever he wants her to do, even sex outside of the marriage, for both of them. If that's what turns them on, that's their thing. No one's forcing her to do anything. Maybe she likes that lifestyle. Some people are swingers. As long as the money's coming in, they'll do anything for their partner. A lot of them, not all of them. Yeah, but it didn't surprise me, but then I see a show of Jim and Drexel afterwards, and they're out shopping like nothing ever happened. What does that say about this Drexel chick? It could say volumes. She's on there complaining, running her phone when they were walking, and he was being the asshole that he was, exhibiting it on camera, and you all heard it. She's still with him. They're out shopping. Like nothing ever happened. Like nothing ever transpired. That's not a relationship you want to be in. But she needs his financial support. Meanwhile, her life is wasting away. She's getting older. And she could be with somebody a lot more respectable that's not a drunkard and not a very dangerous drunk, a very vile drunk. You really want to put up with that? I mean, come on. They all got relatives. Please don't tell me that the relatives can't put you up and help you out. You get out of that relationship. There is no excuse. I know you're going to be losing money and support from that partner, right? I understand that completely. But you got to think what's best for your life. Because life is short. You don't want to waste it. You want to be with somebody that's worthwhile being with. Put the money aside and the support. Is the guy a gentleman? Does he treat me right? Does he respect me in every way? He's not going to cheat on me. He's not going to be with other women and have babies with another woman. That's not a relationship. That's hardly a healthy relationship. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Decide what you want in a Filipina and try to find that Filipina that works for you and what you're looking for. Don't get too desperate and just grab the first chick. That's not a good suggestion. Not a good idea. But a lot of foreigners do that. It's the worst thing you can do. Life is so fucking precious. I can't emphasize that more on my shows as I do. You're feeling good one day and you can feel like horrible the next day. Something hits you. No matter what it is, you don't expect it. And you're feeling like death warmed over. That happens. It's happened to me sometimes. I'm in good health, but through things I perhaps ate or an allergy situation or whatever. I've been hitting hard with some stuff, whether it was a kidney stone situation, whether it was, what do you call that? Well, my nerve was, what do you call that nerve? Yeah, there's always something that'll come your way when you least expect it. So live day by day, but make every day that go by worthwhile. If you love your partner, tell her every single day that you love her. Let her feel secure. Let her know that you appreciate her. If you're lucky as I am to find the right one, at least once a day tell the woman that you love her. Before you go to bed or during the day, it don't matter. Show her how much you appreciate her, not with money, but with love and care. If you have that capability of doing so. If you don't have that, well, why be in a relationship at all? She is there for you, remember that. Remember, most of you guys are older than the women out here. You know, the age gap thing we talk about a lot. You need her more than she needs you. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. You need her more than she needs you. And you might say, well, financially she needs you. In some cases that might apply to some people. Doesn't apply here, but you need her more than she needs you. In many, many reasons. Because you're aging faster than she is, in a sense that you're already 20, 30, 40 years older than your girlfriend. You can't buy back that time, brother. You're not going to buy back that time. And sooner or later, your body's, if you're unlucky, your body's going to break down and you're going to need her care. So if you treated her like shit the whole time, she may walk away from that responsibility of wanting to take care of you. She may refuse the job as caretaker. Say, fuck this guy's treating me like shit. Now when he really needs me, I'm supposed to attend him on, on his whim and just take care of him and do him some good when he's treated you like shit. There's a lot of women that opt out on that. You're on your own, pal. How does it feel to be vulnerable? How does it feel to be vulnerable? Now you need me. Oh, now you need me. You treated me like shit, right? Now you need me. Because you're bedbound, See how that works? Treat your Filipino well, my friends. That doesn't mean money. Treat her well. If you really care for her and love her, show her that you do. It's the best investment you'd ever make in your life. Especially as you get older in a foreign country. Think about what I'm saying. Good day. Chillin' like Dylan. Who's out there? Anybody there? Hello? Anybody there? Oh, it's 3 something. Oh, well, shit. Okay, that explains that. Well, I just have to talk to myself here. Won't be the first time. Yeah, haha, okay. Let's see if a straggler shows up here. Oh, God, really, to come to that? I guess it has. Okay, who do we have on here tonight? I don't always do a later show. Kind of winding down for the night. Oh, she talks on her phone, I talk on mine. Jim and Dexel, the lovebirds. I can't explain it to you. I have no idea. They did a video. Oh, there. Jim and Dexel at the pool. They're walking around. They're making pork chops together. Has his arms, hands on her shoulder like he's so, so much endearment. When he practically wanted to beat her up on that video that I was looking at. So why do women put up with this shit? But I think we already talked about that in detail. In that case, it's got to be about the financial support for her and her kid. Because, well, okay, look, we covered this. We did cover this. But I just sort of did another show. There's a show before that, too. That, like nothing ever happened.
You didn't manhandle her in any way. No, I wasn't speaking horribly to her. So was it the alcohol talking? I don't know. That's still no excuse. If that's what happens to you on alcohol, then you need to stop. Stop it, I tell you. Stop it. But, women will put up with that stuff in certain situations if they are in total need of the guy's financial support. In this case, well, you've obviously seen that video. He wasn't really a nice guy, was he? Not at all. That's why I find it kind of funny. They're all lovey-dovey right now. She's ready to divorce him. Well, you can't get divorced here. I don't know. That could have been a setup, people's attention. I have no idea. I don't think so, but the guy's cocky to begin with. He has to walk around with his shirt off to show anybody. Yeah, it's better to kick in the ass. It's good that he works out, but he's a little bit too much of a show off, too cocky. Look at me type of thing. Well, the fact that he works out is probably the only thing he's got going for him, because his attitude sucks, and his back and forth, on the Philippines, positive and negative is like nonstop. I think he belongs in the USA. That's his best place to stay. Come back now and then to visit a kid or something like that, but I mean, who's it for me to say? Oh, here we go again with the yawning. I'm winding down. Anyway, not really much to say. Let's see who was out there tonight. No, we got 4 viewers out there. I didn't know we had anybody. Something about this time of night, you don't find too many people on. A little earlier would have been a good time to go on. I've been watching some Twilight Zone movies. These are like 1985 stuff, not the original Twilight Zone. Oh, interesting. I saw Glynis O'Connor in there. Hello, Mixer. Any news on the... No, haven't heard nothing. He'll still be in there. Haven't heard a word. Not one word. I think he likes it in there. Works for me either way, like I said. You'll have to ask him. You'll have to find a way to contact his girlfriend or something if you want information about Barry. There's no news to share, and he's not my favorite topic matter. We've had plenty of time to talk about Barry Boy. Glynis O'Connor. Well, I have a story for everything here. No, I never met her, but I tried to. I was just too much of a pussy to go through with the phone call. Glynis O'Connor is an actor that stopped. She's done some movies, commercials. She had some notoriety back in the, I'd like to say even as a child, actually, small child. She played with Bobby, what's his name? It's like a love story type thing. You might know her name, Glynis O'Connor. You could look it up. And she lived, I was in Mount Vernon, New York. I was still, it's a long time ago. And she lived in the next town in Pelham, Pelham. It was either Pelham or Pelham Manor. And her phone, I thought she was cute. Bobby Benson, or so. You remember that? He had that boyish face, Bobby Benson. Yeah. She played in this kind of a love story between them two. Kind of cute at the time. Well, shit, I found out that she just lived the next town over from me. And I'm kind of ballsy, but then I'm not. Phone number was listed, and I called up over there as if to talk to her, but she wasn't home. But I don't know what I would have said to her. Some crazed fan like fucking Brevis or something. Don't want to frighten the woman, girl at the time, teens or 20s, whatever she was at the time. But yeah, here's the thing about living in New York. I mean, there's a lot of somewhat famous people that lived in the bedroom communities of New York. They didn't all live in New York City. You know, they didn't mind working there. They take the commuter train to work. In fact, Richard Nixon was supposed to buy a home, whether he did or not, in Bronxville, which is right next to Mount Vernon. It's a rich little town just before Scarsdale. There's a lot of famous people. They even own properties over here in Westchester County, actually. I can't name everybody. I'd have to look up a list. But I grew up in a town. I mean, everyone from Ken Singleton, the baseball player, and on and on and on. Back in the old days, Jerry Vale, Perry Como, a lot of these old timers, and so forth. Denzel Washington. There was a shitload of people, political and entertainment and sports. Because it was a bedroom community of New York City. Not everybody wanted to live in any of the boroughs of New York City. They liked to live in the outskirts and bedroom communities. And there's a commuter train that would take them to New York City, just as people lived in Connecticut, which a lot of rich people lived in Connecticut, believe me. But by the way, Connecticut's a beautiful place. They got some beautiful homes in Connecticut and beautiful grounds and mansions and just beautiful properties near Long Island Sound. Just absolutely gorgeous. It's a very expensive community. Some of the richest people in the world live in Connecticut. But it was Westchester County. That was a county I lived in. A lot of rich people, but we weren't rich. But there's a lot of famous people. And I don't know, I go on this tangent, Oh, she's cute. Oh, shit, you kidding? She's living in Pelham, right here in Westchester County. I'm like, come on, man, get the balls. Call her up. The worst she could say is, look, I don't talk to fans or something like that. Or she was very young, What was she, late teens or anything? I don't remember. She might have been. No, I get infatuated with somebody, and I'm like, wouldn't it be kind of cool to meet her? It's not like I was starstruck. Maybe more so when I was a kid, yeah. Anyone who was famous like that, wouldn't it be so cool to have them as a girlfriend or something, That's more like being starstruck, though. Generally, I'm not that starstruck as an adult. Unless it was like, Steve Perry or somebody, or somebody of some greatness, Rod Stewart, Steve Perry, or somebody. Then I would be starstruck. Because these were great people. And you say to yourself, they're only humans, and they have a job. They sing, like somebody's a carpenter, somebody's a butcher, a baker, whatever, candlestick maker, whatever the hell they are. It's just a job, so why are they on a higher status than we are? It's not that they're on a higher status. When the world recognizes you for something that you do that's very special, it makes them special. And when they contribute something to society, which a lot of people don't do, not even in a small way, not even in a tiny way. I have. Not in a big way, but I have. But when I see people of such greatness, remember the ordinary people, they take a shit like we do, shower like we do, they do everything that we do. Oh, they got more money, but they're just regular people with red blood, but we put them on a pedestal of greatness because they're in the public eye. Or they've done something that is so special that you have to recognize it, whether it's their music or some kind of talent that they have. I think it's great. But especially about music. You get famous and you write some famous songs well after that person's dead. People will be listening to your music for decades and decades and decades and decades. So part of you kind of lives on. That's the cool thing about that. Your music lives on. Something you contributed to society that's so important that people will always remember you. Not anybody on YouTube. When I croak 10, 20 years, nobody's going to even know I ever existed. Nor anybody else in there, 'cause they'll probably all be dead along with me. A little different on YouTube. We've had people that died and hardly anybody ever talks about them anymore. That's just the way it is. They might have been really popular on YouTube. I mean, like, really popular, and controversial. But after a while, it's like they didn't exist. Just a matter of time. People move on. When you die, the rest of the world moves on. People are still going shopping. Hypocrites are still going to church. People are still, doing their false valor. Life goes on after you're gone. People are getting out of bed and going to bed every night. They're making breakfast every morning. They're going to work. People be falling in love. The world goes on without you. It's a concept that's kind of hard to fathom. It's kind of nobody understands, like, nothingness. That when you're gone, you're gone. And, unless you believe in something else, and maybe you're not gone. Physically, you're gone. Or if you believe in being recreated, you come back as somebody else. Who knows? Nobody's ever been there to come back. Excuse me, tell us that story. Nobody. I don't think that'll ever happen. But, yeah, that's the interesting concept of, life just goes on, man. I'll be a distant memory to a lot of people, but they'll probably all die off before I even become a memory. I'll probably outlive most of them. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, not too much to say tonight before bed. I gotta wind it down for the night. So it's exciting and new? Nothing really. Just vegging out today, that was about it. I didn't go anywhere today. Nah. But welcome to reality. I think almost everybody I watch here on YouTube that does talk about themselves or anything, it's the same thing. Whether it's Paul in the Philippines, he doesn't go out much unless he has to meet somebody or go to the store. He don't like going out in the hot heat all the time, just like me. That's kind of the way it is out here. Most people do spend a lot of time indoors when it's really hot out. Duh. Even you wonder why. When you got a humidity level of like 83%, that's pretty wicked. Only the wise will stay in on a day like that. If you have to go anything on chores, you go out and do your chores. You do what you have to do. Because you're always happy to come home. And yes, that's right. You're correct. Sit under that air conditioner. Out here, it's something you really have to do. Unless you just can't afford it. You just suffer it out with a fan. But let's face it, unless the temperature is really down outside, a fan will be okay. When it's really that hot, a fan is just blowing the hot air around on you inside the house. That's all it's really doing. Just more of the hot air blowing on you. Anywho, we don't have a big crowd here because it's after 9. I've never had a big audience after 9 o'clock p.m. Probably had 5 people showing up here. That's okay. But I do gotta go. And I don't know if I'll do a show tomorrow morning or not. If I got something to talk about, I'll do a show. Doesn't matter how early I get up and I get bored and I do a show. I don't have always everything that's something to talk about all the time, unless it's worthwhile talking about. And I'm just shooting a breeze tonight, that's all. Okay, I gotta get out of here, wind up for the night. Y'all hang in there. Life's not that bad. Just hang in there, my friend.